The creation of a button starts with a design that fits neatly within a 1-inch circle. I know nothing about designing circles. However, I do know how to do the rest of the job. You take the design and you cut it carefully, or in my case, not so carefully, into strips. And these strips, of course, are going to go through the cutting machine. So, let's take a look at our cutting machine. The cutting machine is a clever device which basically cuts little circles out of things. So we will take our set of images here and we'll slide it into the cutting machine, and if we just cut a tiny piece right here, we'll see that we can cut off this, and what we'll get, of course, is a little circle cut out of that, and what we'll be doing is cutting these out. We thread our set of images into the machine here, this is our cutting machine, and we line it up as well as we can, press down the lever, and then we've cut out a little circle, which we will then use for a button when we get to the button machine. You'll notice that I have left a tiny white edge around the button material here. This makes it easier to see where I'm centering it on the machines. So if we take a very close look at our machine here, we can see that I can pretty much center that pretty well with a slight white edge around all of it. Push down, pull up, and now a little trick to get this thing to come out easily is to put your finger, just barely tap it down so it slides on the paper, and then you can knock it off. Now we are finished with the cutting machine. We have a whole bunch of very nice blanks ready to be put into actual buttons. So we're going to pull out our button making machine. You will notice that I have a couple of pieces of blue tape on the bottom. This makes the machine a little bit more stable on the table so it won't slip around. We'll take our button templates, we drop them on the table. That makes them separate more easily. Make sure I only get one of these. Sometimes it's easy to make a mistake. Drop one in there, take one button template, put that on top, and finally a single piece of clear plastic, flip it around, push the button in the machine. That side's done. We have these rings, which we also drop on the table to separate. Put the ring on this side, flip it around, and we now have a no TSA button. Let's take a look at this in fast motion. So, when I'm doing a normal production run, I can generally get these things at a fairly decent clip. The challenge is to make sure you don't double anything, and that you just keep a nice, calm, steady pace. So I can keep this going for quite some time, and I can turn out hundreds of buttons without feeling a huge amount of effort for it. And so even as a single person here, I feel that I can easily make a great number of buttons with no particular difficulty whatsoever. And of course, that's kind of fun when it's late at night and you're just tired from all the activity of the day. And you can just sit here and make buttons. And so that is the glory of the button making machine. There are two common problems that I have run into with the machine. One problem is when I accidentally take too many of these things and put them in the same time. Then I think, oh my goodness, it's stuck there. I could pick up the machine and shake it out, but it is much easier to take a piece of tape and pick up one, and pick up two. By the way, these things are hard to pick up on a surface here, so I can also just pick them up like this. The other thing that occurs is when you have perhaps put two of these in, or perhaps doubled a piece of paper, and after you put in the ring, you find that you can't get it to come out. And in these cases, all you have to do is take a pair of scissors or something like that and gently put it into the section here, and the button will simply pop out easily. So those are the two problems that I have had to deal with. The rest of the machine I have not adjusted nor touched since I bought it a year ago. And now it is time to put the little pins in the back of the buttons. This is done by, here is the pin, here is the button. We put this side of the pin to that side of the button. We can hold it with our thumb right there. You can see the side of the pin sticking out. We're going to place our other thumb at the end of this, and all we have to do is push and lock, and we have a button. And there's no need to worry about the orientation, because if you hold the button here, you can take it here, and you can twist it to any orientation you want very easily. It only goes one way. So once you get good at this, it's a very, very smooth effort. You start off like this, and boom, it's in and locked. And so you can go through quite a number of pins in great speed while just slipping it in and locking it. And the pins, these pins, you don't have to do while you're sitting at the table, of course. You can take a bunch of pins and a bunch of buttons out to wherever you're going, and you can spread them on the table, and many people can have the enjoyment of feeling creative and putting together the buttons. And that is a real good thing. So there we go, the creation of the 1-inch button, the 1-inch button machine by Occupy Boston.